with this, I declare this meeting open and we'll hear a virtual bell. Shelby, go ahead. Thank you. All right, so I would like to welcome all of you in person and in Zoom. Today I am joining the Zoom group, and this is our 5,580th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Once again, I'll tell you about our general announcements for those who haven't been with us earlier or in other days, but you know, what I would like to tell you, all in-person attendees must pre-register and prepay if applicable. This includes the Rotary One Golden Wheel and pay-as-you-go members. Please, also you need, next week on the August 17th, we're having our Job One lunch program, and we need you to register by Thursday at 3 p.m. We're holding this event in a different location, so Alita will tell you more later. But please, we need to have those numbers from you as soon as you're able to confirm, and hopefully, by Thursday, 3 p.m., as I said. We only have one special meal available, which is the vegetarian. So as you know, the Union League Club is slowly going back to normal, but there are some restrictions due to COVID. So for the time being, we have that special meal available. The new mask requirements. I hear some noise. Okay, no more noise in the background. I hope you heard what I said before. We have new mask requirements. As you know, the COVID numbers are increasing by the day, by the hour, so we need to be extra careful. This means now that while entering the Union League Club, if you come in person and before you sit down to eat, a face mask must be worn. When seated for eating or drinking, you may remove the mask, of course, but please wear the mask at all times. And in the spirit of the four-way test, is it fair to all concerned? We would like all unvaccinated people, if any of you are here, please wear the mask at all times. And I am very, very grateful for your cooperation. Now, I would like to introduce our president nominee, Alita Williams, who is going to tell you about the Job One Awards and Appreciation Banquet. It will take place at Glessner House, but I'm going to let Alita continue telling you about it. So Alita, the floor is yours.
We have our Job One Appreciation and Awards Banquet on August 17th. It will be held at Glessner House on 1800 South Prairie Avenue and on Zoom as always. Our guest speaker will be Vivette Payne, president of Avery Payne Group, which specializes in organization, team, and leadership development. Help our Job One continue its great work. Please bid in our online auction, which the link will also be in the chat, and it is open until August 17th at 5 p.m. All proceeds from the auction will go toward our wonderful scholarship program for our students.
So questions for a Q&A session. We will take the questions at the end of Jeremy's remarks. And for those of you who are at the ULC, please hold your questions until the end. And those of you on Zoom, please write your questions in the chat and keep your questions short, succinct, and we'll do the best that we can to have them all. All right, so Jeremy is the founder and chief visionary officer of Seventh Sea, a worldwide community of conservationists who believe we all want to help Mother Nature, but we never have the time. Seventh Sea provides a way to buy time. Jeremy was born in Los Angeles, California, and has traveled to 17 countries, most multiple times. At 36 years old, he's founded 3 businesses and sold 2. He believes the future of business will be rooted in conscious capitalism as conscious consumers continues to demand that products be made sustainably and ethically. Well, Jeremy, there's a lot to talk about you, but I think you're the best one to do it. So the floor is yours. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me. It's really an honor to be here. Really looking forward to speaking about what I've been doing the last 3 years, and honestly, feel free to interrupt with questions anytime you want. One thing I'd like to do really quick is can everyone hear me okay? All right. One thing I'd like to do is have everyone take just a quick moment to look at the water on your table. You may be drinking tea, maybe drinking coffee, it may even be soda, but there's water in it, I promise. And if we can take a second just to remember, this is at least 60% of us. It's 75% of your brain and your heart. So if we could take a quick moment just to appreciate what is about to become us, I think that would be a good thing. Okay, so I'd like to start by telling you a story, and some of you may have heard this before, but it's one that I like to keep in mind and always keep in mind when I'm making decisions for the company, and all my people do the same. So there was an anthropologist who'd been studying the habits and cultures of a remote African tribe, which turned out to be the Zulu tribe. He'd been working in the village for quite some time, and the day before he was to return home, he put together a gift basket filled with delicious fruits from around the region and wrapped it in a ribbon. He placed the basket under a tree, and then he gathered up the children in the village. The man drew a line in the dirt, looked at the children, and said, "When I tell you to start, run to the tree, and whoever gets there first will win the basket of fruit." When he told them to run, they all looked at each other, at each other's hands, and ran together to the tree. Then they sat together, and the basket was enjoyed by everyone. The anthropologist was shocked. He asked, are we turning this up as we go? I need to hold it further from my face. The anthropologist was shocked. He asked why they would all go together when one of them could have won all the fruit for themselves. A young girl looked up at him and said, "How can one of us be happy if all of the others are sad?" Ubuntu. That's what she was describing. I am because you are. So, as Margarita had stated earlier, Seventh Sea is a worldwide community of sea saviors. We do believe that everyone wants to save our seas. We just don't have time. So we create ways to buy time. Time for our sea saviors to clean beaches and spread environmental consciousness around the world. We do this by providing consumers with a marketplace full of Seventh Sea certified, sustainable, responsibly sourced materials and products. We also partner with conscious companies that buy time in return, and in return are able to show the world they are a part of the future of conscious capitalism. So this was our flagship product. And when I first went back to Shargao, which is the mothership, I thought that this is all we would do. We would sell clothes and provide people the opportunity to buy time, and it has evolved into so much more than I thought it could be. Our sea saviors clean daily, spreading awareness and connecting communities to the sea, to the cause, and to each other. On average, one sea savior cleans 111 pounds of trash in one day. That's 1 metric ton a month per person. But we don't stop at removing ocean pollution, because to truly create change, we have to instill the values of environmental consciousness and awareness in our communities around the world. And we do this by working with the kids. We have something we affectionately call 7th C schools. We actually had our first after the pandemic just 2 weeks ago. And I have a video to show you guys to give you an idea of what we do. But we teach kids to swim, we teach them to surf, eventually sail. The whole idea is getting people and the community involved back in the ocean. You'd be really surprised how few people actually know how to swim on these tiny islands all over the world. And here. So these are some of the products that we currently have. These are all ethically made in California, made of organic cotton. And this is what's planned for next summer. Oh, good, you guys are able to see it. So bathing suits that are actually made out of the plastic bottles that we collect. This is what's known as a circular economy. We pick up the plastic, we process it with our manufacturers, and then put it back on the market to be bought to buy more time for our sea saviors. This is one of the companies that we're partnered with, Optics. They create sunglasses out of our collected bottles. And actually, I have, I'm not sure where it went. Oh, there we go. This is one plastic bottle, which equates to one pair of sunglasses. I'll pass this around. This is processed, ready to be made into a product. We have Opolis sunglasses on our marketplace. They also give us a percentage of sales to be able to market that we pick up on their behalf. Ustrive Manufacturing in Los Angeles, California, and in other parts of the world, the average hourly wage in our country is $5 an hour because of piecework. Piecework, you have to do a certain quality to be able to have your piece accepted. Quality takes time no matter how good you are. The average employee makes $5 in the United States. Ustrive pays a living wage of nearly $20. There are a few photos from the weekend. And that is this is just plastic on the island of Siargao. One of the major problems, as you're all aware of, I'm sure, is tourism. When people travel to other countries, typically don't bring a refillable water bottle. It's getting better and better, but water bottles are a huge problem. And so it's understandable not to drink the local tap water, but using a new water bottle every time you drink water, it's insane. Yeah, thank you. So to give you a little bit of a backstory and how I got to this point, how we got to this point, it's important for me to tell you a little bit more about myself. And a little rhyme I like to tell myself, in addition to the sentiments of Ubuntu, is 7C is not about me. It's not about you. It's about all of us. And so I learned this more and more when I got out of the insurance industry. I did insurance for 8 years, and it all changed, and I decided that I needed to change as well. So I sold my book of business there and just went on walkabout. I had a draw to go to Southeast Asia. I didn't know why. I just did. I started in Nepal, went through India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines, Bali, and Australia. And along the way, I saw some amazing things, met beautiful people everywhere, but I also saw trash everywhere. And so I was reminded of a thought I had when I was a kid, and that's surfing in California. When I'd leave the beach, I'd see trash everywhere, and I just wonder, why is no one paid to pick this up? And of course, in California or anywhere in the US, after insurances and everything, be about $150 minimum to hire someone to do that. In the second world, it's $10 and less, and that's a living wage with benefit. In the third world, it's $5 and less. Again, a living wage. So these are a few photos of C School and a little barbecue afterward. All of our, or not all of our Sea Saviors, but we have Sea Saviors that are lifeguard certified to do the Sea Schools. So these are actually surf instructors who, during the pandemic, when everything slowed down, they lost their jobs. We were able to pick up the slack a little bit and offer them jobs teaching people to swim on the island. That's one of my favorites. Sorry, I got a little turned around, guys. This is me on my way to Nepal, starting that trip. These are my friends Sohan and Robin. Apologies, I can't remember his name. That's in Sri Lanka. Also in Sri Lanka, Hanoi, Vietnam, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Bali. That was in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And that is Halong Bay in Vietnam. So beautiful. And that's Byron Bay, Australia. So, a few stats. We dump 8 million tons of plastic in the ocean each year. Currently, 270,000 tons floating in the ocean, but that's just floating. 70% of debris sinks, only 15% floats. It's hard to stomach, but if you like fish, you're eating plastic. We eat about a credit card's worth a month. As I said, these figures are only, oh, I didn't mention that, sorry. These figures are only for plastic, so that doesn't count other waste. As I said before, 1/7 Sea Savior removes 111 pounds of trash each day, over 1 metric ton each month. In the second world, that Sea Savior raises a family on $10 a day. That's less than our lunch. In the third world, less than I paid for this coffee. Who here has heard of conscious capitalism before? By show of hands. So the 4 precepts for conscious capitalism are higher purpose, stakeholder orientation, conscious leadership, and conscious culture. I won't go into all of them, but I'd like to highlight the difference between stakeholder capitalism versus shareholder capitalism. Stakeholder, everyone and everything, that is the environment as well, has a stake in what happens in the supply chain of a product getting to market. And everyone must benefit, everyone and everything. You can't be hurt by that product getting to market. Shareholder, as long as the shareholder's happy, nothing else matters. And by the way, that usually in very large corporations usually means massive layoffs at the end of the year just so they can balance the books and say everything looks good. Not actually working. So the 7C standard is For 7th Sea and all of our partners, we have to follow the SA 8000 human rights standard on better treatment of employees and human rights, pay all workers a living wage, improve sustainability of products and services through proper certifications. We're getting there. One last video. This is actually of our crowdfunding campaign. It was for our crowdfunding campaign, which just ended a few weeks ago. We ended up doing just under $40,000. And so if anyone on Facebook Live or anyone who helped, thank you for that. And here's the video that we put together for the crowdfunding campaign. What if you could clean a beach without stepping foot on its shore, and spread the word of sustainability without saying a word? Our seas are in peril, and we all want to do our part, but we never seem to have the time. 7th Sea created a way to buy time, with a line of sustainable products that each give a sea savior an entire day, cleaning beaches and teaching sustainability around the world. And it all starts with our tea for the sea, ethically made in California from 100% organic cotton. I started 7th Sea because I never felt right walking past trash on the beach after surfing. I always collect what I can, but eventually have to drag myself away wondering why no one's picking it up. A couple years ago, I went traveling in Southeast Asia, and I remembered our trash problem is everywhere, and it belongs to us all. Doesn't matter where we're picking it up, just as long as we pick it up. I was also reminded of the warmth and generosity of complete strangers, and how many of them live in areas of immense pollution with little opportunity. Knowing that we all want to do our part to help save our seas, and we also want to buy sustainable, ethically made products, I decided to combine the two, and 7th Sea was born, out of the desire to help the people save the sea. Right now, sea saviors are cleaning beaches and teaching sustainability in California and Siargao, the surf capital of the Philippines. But we need your help to take our message worldwide. Please contribute to our crowdfunding campaign, share our video with your friends and family, and we'll continue to deploy our sea saviors, ocean to ocean, sea to sea, until we reach the 7th Sea.
Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How close am I getting?
Okay. Unfortunately, we're running a bit of time, out of time. But I have a question from one of our members, David Hirsch, who, of course, this ties in with what you were just saying. And David says, I was in the Maldives last month, and I was shocked to see the amount of garbage on the streets and floating in the water in Male, the capital. We asked why there is no cleanup or recycling effort without a coherent response. For your information, this has little to do with tourism, since the tourists head to the 150 plus resort islands. What can or should be done in locations like this?
So what it comes down to, and absolutely, it's not all tourism. It's not at all. It's lack of education and awareness, and also the government not really caring. The government is getting rich off the tourism. So partially because of that, to turn a blind eye, we also send a lot of our trash out of sight, out of mind to these places that don't have the ability to process it or do anything with it. So a lot of it gets back to rivers, streams, everywhere. But also to that point, people, they aren't really told not to do that. They aren't really told, there's no example from leadership not to do it. So not to mention also the waste bins, things like that. We also sponsor waste bins on the island because the government doesn't actually put them up. How do you expect people? They're telling them, don't throw your trash on the ground. This is what you do with your trash from home, but then don't provide a system to get rid of it. So if the government doesn't show that they care, how are the people supposed to? And one of the reasons that we tie it to the ocean and also getting the communities involved with fun things is because then they make the connection themselves. That this is all going to end up there. This is where my food comes from. This is where life comes from, even if they're inland. And we will eventually go inland through rivers and then spread out on the land as well. The name Seventh Sea is just catchy. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
We have one in the room.
What do you do with your collections? Once you've collected something, what do you do with it?
So thank you for the question. There are actually 4 different types of rubbish. There's compostable. There's the one thing that we can't do anything with, non-recyclable and non-repurposable. So right now we actually, on the island, because we're not collecting it, even though we're already getting in the tonnage, we're not collecting it ourselves. In fact, we're giving it away to a company that processes what we passed around. I don't know if everybody got to see that, but right now we're giving it away. And also the repurposable as well, which that stuff, a lot of it can just be heated up and pressed into things that can be reused, like plastic furniture and things like that. So really 50% of what we make, or sorry, of what we use in plastic can be made into something else. And by the way, the rPET that was passed around, that's recovered PET, it can be made into something again and again and again. Are there any other questions while I scroll through?
Just to follow up on what you just spoke about.
Okay.
If you follow the news and you know how much plastic is being shipped back to Asia, and particularly to China, and the latest is that China doesn't want that anymore, and the Philippines, and
Right.
et cetera, being shipped back. If there's technology that we could do this, why aren't we not doing this? And how do you see the problem worsen now that we cannot ship it overseas?
So one thing, China has multiple reasons, I believe, to not be taking our plastic. So does the Philippines and others in the area. They also have plenty to work with already, is one of the problems. What was the last question, last bit of your question? I'm sorry.
Why can't we just convert it to this?
Oh, we can. That's the thing, but we need more facilities. So that's what we're going to do. Like I was saying, right now we're giving it away, but very soon we will be partnering with a facility. Right now we're in the process of actually getting them vetted and certified to make sure that within the Philippines, we can turn it into that, but we have to make sure that they're following the 7C standard. They have to be paying a living wage and they have to be treating their employees right. And that takes a little bit of time. So we'll be doing that in the Philippines really soon. We can do it in Indonesia right now. And so to answer your question, we can, but investment in those things is the answer.
Sir, I appreciate your presentation. Like this product, rPET, it has the highest value in the plastic recycling business. If you can fill up a 40-foot sea container, I give you a contact in Europe, they buy it. And these PET bottles, like the Coca-Cola and water bottles, under European law, 30% of the new bottles are made with this plastic.
Right.
Fine, so but you need to fill up a 40-foot seat container.
You just made me think of, we'll get there.
And
Thank you.
The company is called Plastic Bank. They're in the Philippines, in Manila.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Another story is, what are you doing when you chop up the plastics into these little chips? Are you washing the plastic once it's separated?
Yeah, it all has to be washed and everything. We're not doing that ourselves just yet, but the processing plants, yes, they have to clean everything. It has to be of a certain grade plastic to even be made into that.
Let me share with you what's happening inside the Rotary worldwide. We have what is called Rotary Action Group. One Rotary Action Group is called Sustainability. In this entity of sustainability, there's a new chapter or new engagement right now. It's called microplastic. So the issue is, once these recyclers to whom you supply your material, once they wash the plastic, the biggest problem is that the filtration in the wastewater stream doesn't exist. That means the plastic is not clean, looks like yours, but the burden, the microplastic and the nanoplastic is ending up in the water system and the water streams.
Right. And my answer to that would be innovation. That's why it's conscious capitalism, because there will be a solution to that at some point, but there's just not enough of it happening, which we had mentioned earlier, for that to be solved just yet. But we have to be moving in this direction. And on that point, really quick, Margarita, I'm sure I'm running out of time, but on that point, before I started all of this, consumers, especially online, 52% of all age groups were looking to see how their materials, their products were made before they purchased it. Now, after COVID, that's almost to 65%, and millennials and younger are willing to pay 35% more for it. So when that reaches that threshold of 75, 80% across the board, problems like that will start getting solved, and a lot of our other issues. And I think I need to be done now. Thank you all so much. Just one last thing. My favorite photo or image that's been taken this entire time, her name is Yende. This is our very first beach cleanup. And I love this photo because the determination in her face, and also the young man to her left who's watching, because the coolest thing that's happened through all of this is watching the community come out without being asked, especially the kids, and they just start cleaning. They just start helping. All we have to do is set the example. So, thank you all.
I would like to thank you very much for your presentation and the ability you had to make something really important out of, what many people could see is just as a surfing holiday. You're transforming the environment. So I wish you the very best in what you do, and I hope you stay in touch. So you let us know how it is going on your next trips. So what I would like to do now, I think, correct me if I am wrong, we have one member that we're going to induct today as a member of our club.
Yes, here's Laura.
Okay, thank you. Oh, if you give me 1 second, Jeremy, I forgot. What we would like to present you with a certificate, thanking you for you coming to speak to our club. There it is on the screen now. You will be getting a hard copy of it. And with that, we wish you the very, very best. Okay, so, back to you, Alita now, or Laura.
Hello, thank you, Marga. So today, Richard, if you'd like to come on up here with me. Richard is one of our newest members that we will be inducting here today. So a little bit about Richard, by the way. He recently moved to Barrington. He's a South Side lifer, so he's discovering the world of the suburbs with grass and other fun things. Oh, okay. Good job. Way to follow directions. All right, so Richard, it is my great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Rotary Club of Chicago to welcome you as a member of Rotary One. We welcome you not only for the fine fellowship that we shall share, but also for your talents, abilities, and enthusiasm that will help us carry out our many projects to make our community, our country, and the world a better place in which to live. Now, Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and the sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility to help others. Rotary is also not a religious organization, but it's built upon those eternal principles that have served as the moral compass for people throughout the ages. So what is Rotary? It's an organization of business and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. So you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Chicago because your fellow Rotarians believe you to be a leader in your profession, and because you manifest the intelligence and commitment of heart that fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary. You are a representative of your profession in this club, and any information of an educational value pertaining to that profession must naturally come to us through you. At the same time, you're now an ambassador from us to your profession, and we rely upon you to carry the principles and ideals of service of Rotary to those who share your professional activity. The community will know and judge Rotary by your embodiment of it in character and service, and we accept you as a member because we know our principles and organizations are safe in your keeping. Now, this is the hard part. We expect you to give us the inspiration that will help us become better Rotarians. So it is with this hope that we congratulate you. And we are providing you with, normally Margot would provide you with the pin, but that'd be a little interesting. So this is a pin unique to our club, Rotary One. So it is the only pin in the Rotary world that is like that. And then this is the annual theme of the year.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And now I'd like to invite you to just introduce yourself to the club, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you joined Rotary.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, it's really an honor to be joining you all as a Rotarian because Rotary clubs globally have had a profound impact on my work and my career. And I'll just tell you maybe one quick story to illustrate that. Jeremy talked about the concept of Ubuntu. And when I was just out of college, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Benin. And you gave a very correct definition. The term is used throughout Southern and Eastern Africa, and it has a few different definitions. Another one is a person becomes a person through other people. And as a Peace Corps volunteer, I was a teacher in a rural school and had two students who were absolutely brilliant. And I looked into, where are they from? And there was a young man who was from a very prominent family in my town, it turned out, and he clearly had a way to go on to university and beyond. And then this young woman who was really side by side with him was from a family of peasant farmers. And in fact, her older brother had started school a few years before her and had always tutored her. So he was 3 years ahead of her in school, but he was the reason she was the #1 student in the school. So I, in a village, thought that, this young woman and her family agreed should go to a really outstanding school. And I didn't know anyone in the nearest city that had that school. And a friend of mine named Francis de Begni in Benin is a Rotarian, and he took me to a couple of meetings, and this is in 2005, and they said, of course, we're gonna help. Here's a couple schools to look at, and then we're gonna call our friends and find you a host family. And they did. And I never could have done this on my own. And that young woman went from being a great student who was probably not on a path to go to college. She is now a third-year resident as an OBGYN, and she's a doctor, and thank you. And so this is some of the kind of work that I've been very fortunate to do over the years in education and now in healthcare. But the Rotarians gave me just the greatest friendship, the greatest gift, perhaps of my career, by helping me to see that these things are possible with friendship and with Ubuntu, building on our humanity by recognizing the humanity of the people around us. So I am in the north suburbs, but I really wanted to join Rotary One because of the history, the place that this club has as my work continues to take me now to Uganda and working with Rotary clubs there as well as in California. And it just, for so many reasons, is an honor for me to be a member here. And I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. It's a pleasure to have you in our club.
Okay, well, we have a few more announcements to make. Alita, let's see, go ahead. And we have about 10 minutes left. So go ahead.
August 14th, we're going to join the Rotary Club to clean up Montrose Beach from 2 to 4:30. And then our upcoming events, Wayman Anderson, one of our members, is sponsoring a haul on behalf of Rotary One for this Saturday's Edward D. Irvin Foundation Beta Links Scholarship Golf Outing. That's a lot. In Glenwood Golf Course in Glenwood, Illinois, 11 a.m. shotgun start. So please check the gyrator to register for more information. And District 6450 is holding a 4-part diversity, equity, and inclusion speaker series, which continues next Thursday, August 19th at 6 p.m., in which we will be discussing educational disparities. Please come and be a part of the discussion and the solution. Register on the District 6450 website.
So I would like to tell you the PR and Marketing Committee is meeting on August 19th at 6:30 p.m. All right, and on Saturday, August 21st, we have the District Assembly. It is a once-a-year event where those of you, especially who are new members, will have a chance to learn a bit Rotary as an organization. And everybody's invited to come. There is no cost involved, and you can come for part of the assembly or all of it if your time allows. And last but not least, we have the Zone Institute coming in September. If you want to meet about 1,000 other Rotarians, this is the place to go. It goes from September 7th through the 12th, but if you go there from the Friday through the Sunday, you're going to get the gist of the best that the Institute is going to offer to new members or to any Rotarian that wishes to participate. This is usually a training for district governors, nominees, or elects, or other Rotarians who would like to have leadership positions in Rotary. So, it is a great opportunity to meet a lot of people and talk about the things you would like to do with Rotary. So please also take a look at the slides on the screen with the new dates and times for the committee meetings. And I would like to recommend all of you to join at least one committee. It is a lot easier now to join these committees because we have those meetings on Zoom. So, just find out what are we doing in the different committees, what are the projects that our club is involved in. Again, as you know, every Friday we continue the tradition started during the Spanish flu. I told you we're an old club, which is the Friday round table, and this takes place on the Carvery on the 4th floor of the Union League Club of Chicago. So there's no agenda. It is just get together with people who will come to this lunch and have a meal together and fellowship. So you're all invited to attend. And then we have another meet and greet for new members or friends who are interested in joining Rotary. And this is going to take place on Thursday, August 19th, right before Alita's DEI series. And it's going to be at the Chicago Athletic Association in 12th. The address is 12th South Michigan Avenue on the 2nd floor. There are several places to meet. We are going to be on the 2nd floor. Come have a drink. Again, it's all fellowship, and we'll tell you about Rotary and everything you would like to know. And on August 24th, we have a guest, Dr. Ray Hodgson, who is going to be speaking to us from Australia, from Port Macquarie. And he has started going on medical missions to Nepal. So today next week in 2 weeks he's going to talk to us about the mother and babies hospital that he's building in Nepal. I invite you all. This is to participate on this event because the story is quite extraordinary. And it's 1:24 today, so I think we're going to call the meeting to a close, and next week we're going to read the 4-way test. Okay, so please, Shelby, you can ring the bell, and I invite you to read today the 4-way test. I don't want to take any more of your time. Alita, thank you so much for running the show at the club, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All the best.